Louie C. the Mayor checking in. What is going on, my people? We're about to get this thing started. Another fabulous, exciting, wonderful, beautiful day in paradise. Thank you for coming in on the podcast. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button right over here. Those of y'all watching worldwide on YouTube, woo! And notifications, those who are watching on Facebook Live right now, right over here, woo! And thank you to FloridaKeysNG.com. Lawyers for all accidents in the Keys. If you have an accident, a moped, car, bicycle, or God forbid on that ocean, you got to go local, baby. FloridaKeysNG.com, 302 Southern Street. They're going to make it happen. And Dr. Burrows is for real out there at Advanced Urgent Care Key West Marathon in Key Largo. We have 4 success stories, 4 for 4 out there treating that COVID-19. Free testing going on. So make sure you check them out over there at the Florida Keys at the Advanced Urgent Care. They'll take care of you. And last but not least, boy, I've been looking for this place for a while, about 20 years, to try to find me some new Cuban food, Latin food to eat. And I finally found it. This place you're going to get lost 3 times, and then you're eventually going to run into it. 124 Duval Street, Paradise Restaurant. Incredible how we've been missing this. Once you get over there, you're going to see what it's all about. It's going to be all up. So now on the program today, we got a big dog, one of the big executives in the building, checking in, Dan Hogberg from the Hogberg. What is going on, sir? How you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Everything good? You look like you've been out in that sun trying to get it.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Don't take long.
So, Mr. Dan, you know what they say about the hog's breath? Hog's breath is better than no breath at all. So if you want to give these people an intro about yourself, how long you've been in Key West, look right in there in that crap and let them know where we're at.
Well, I've been with the Hog's Breath for 10 years. I've been in Key West for just about 17 years.
Gotcha.
Came down here in 2003, and I ran the Key West Yacht Club over on North Roosevelt. I was there for just less than 8 years. Gotcha. And then I made the jump to the Hog's Breath, and it's been a fantastic move.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to ask you to project your voice so these people can hear you, because it's hard.
to make masks.
Yeah, make it
beautiful
hard.
Masks.
And can you line me up there on the Facebook again so we can give it to who is Michael Knowles on production today? James, what's going on, James? James, I heard you had a stop the other day in Stock Island. Shout out to the Perry out there. Make it happen. A beautiful place to stay. Make sure you hit the notifications button right over here on and make sure you hit the subscribe button for those y'all watching worldwide on YouTube right over here. So, Dan, we keep it blood raw here on the program. There's a lot of stuff going on. So let's get right to it and see what is happening. What is going on at the good old Hog's Breath?
Well, right now, unfortunately, we're just operating under our restaurant license, which basically means that we cannot act like a bar. We cannot act like what we normally are. The Hog's Breath experience, for those of you who haven't been to the Hog's Breath, is about phenomenal live music, phenomenal drinks, great service staff, bartenders, waitresses, and it's just fun. It's just full out fun. That's our normal experience.
And this institution down here, how long you guys been open?
This is we'll be in November this year. We'll be 34 years young.
34 years and still serving drinks out there. I mean, it's one of the...
Yeah, the original Hog's Breath was started by Jerry Dormany up in Okaloosa Island.
Gotcha.
And that was started in 1978. But we've been there. We'll be 34 years this November.
Gotcha.
And but we're all about live music. I think people, when they think of the Hog's Breath, they probably think about live music more than any other aspect.
Well, you're world famous for the live music.
I have live music 7 days a week from basically 12 noon until 2 a.m. 1 a.m. anyway. So
let me ask you,
7 days a week.
Let me ask you this, because I want to make sure we take care of our service industry people. What are a couple bands you want to give some shout outs to over there? Because I know you got some great.
This has been so rough. Because these bands are like my family. I've been working with these bands for 10 years.
Right.
And, guys like the Mike Veal Band out of Atlanta, Georgia, Reggie Sullivan out of South Carolina, the Reggie Sullivan Band.
Okay.
Cliff Cody, one of our premier entertainers who's a solo player, singer, songwriter. There's too many to talk about.
All shout out to the service industry. And listen, make sure you come on in here. Let me tell you.
But I think people need to understand how badly, not just here in Key West, but everywhere in America, everywhere in the world, the musicians
are struggling.
And they don't. It's hard for a musician to even get unemployment compensation through the state,
especially in Florida.
So what I'm doing is I'm going with solo performers, 2 a day. Every day we're open, and right now, we're only open Wednesday through Sunday, but I'm still able to give out 10 gigs a week.
That's outstanding.
And that's that's important because, well, there are a few other places in town that are doing music. I'm doing it every day we're open, all the entire time we're open.
Thank God.
So it's important because these people, they don't have the other benefits that most people have to fall back on.
Right. Let me say this. So like I told y'all, they won't, they ain't never gonna stop the party. So bars will be reopening soon. Exactly when, I don't know, but we're gonna talk about this. There's been some developments going on. You know this young lady right here? You see? Can you see it?
Oh yeah, Spring Rice.
Spring?
I love Spring.
Yeah, Spring.
Spring has been very helpful to me.
Let me ask you something. This is not the spring training like baseball. It's a whole different type of training.
Spring does our alcohol compliance training. That woman knows more about regulations and rules and what we need to do to comply within the industry.
Spring training, that's what you got to go to make sure your I's and T's are taken care of.
Spring has been invaluable to me.
Love you, Spring. Thank you for checking in the podcast. Like I said, hit the notifications. Come on in right over here. Woo! And those of y'all watching worldwide on YouTube, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. So, Big Dan, let's just get to the meats and potatoes. Can the service industry survive under our current leadership?
Well, I think we're all doing the best we can with what we've been given to work with. And I tell my whole staff, we're with the parameters we've been given by the state, the county, and now the city, we're going to take whatever they give us and we're going to try to do the best we can possibly do.
Yes.
And that's all we can do. I mean, I still want people to come in and have some kind of a Hog's Breath experience when they visit Key West.
Right.
It may just be Hog's Breath light right now with just a singer-songwriter on the stage instead of a full band, but at least we're doing that.
Yes. And Dan has been being very nice. I'm going to give it to you straight, and this is not on behalf of Dan. The leadership, this is coming from me, that we have right now is not working for me, and I'm not happy at all. I'm not happy with this 11 o'clock closing. I wasn't happy when it happened because lobster season is 2 days. They extended this for a month. Now they want to continue to extend this. I'm not buying into the program. The only way that we change this is by voting some of these people out. There's just no other way to say it. I agree with Dan. These are very nice people. The mayor of Key West is very nice. Terry, I know her personally. She knows the issues. She's trying to do the best she can. We're not moving in the direction. I think that if we continue to operate the way we're doing, we'll lose the character of the Concord Public. So I'm hoping that coming up here with the election, we're going to see another mayor. This has nothing to do with Dan. This is coming from me. And for example, today, federal judge ruled on the cruise ship referendum. I know you heard the news. What's your opinion?
Well, I really wanted to see a different opinion. I think we're just prolonging it. I know the people worked hard to get those items on the ballot, and they got their signatures and satisfied everything they needed to satisfy. But what really upsets me about this issue is that it's kind of the way it's written, it's not really fair. When you say, well, we just want to get rid of cruise ships that have 1,200 or more people. Well, that's 94% of the ships.
Right. Okay?
Asking to get rid of 94% of what a lot of people have built their whole businesses around.
Right.
And I'm not going to lie, the cruise ships are very, very important to the Hog's Breath because of our proximity to the port. And you hear a lot of these people throw out numbers, well, it's only 8% of the revenue. Well, that might, be true overall, but a business down in the complete south end of Duval Street, that it might not even be 0.5% of their business. But if you come up to Front Street,
very busy.
I bet you it's, for some of those small businesses on Front Street, it's 75% of their business are cruise ship passengers.
Right.
And I know at the Hogberg, I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is, but it's a substantial part of our business. And the other thing is, we've been using cruise ships for 23, 24 years now. They've been coming more and more every year. So anybody who owns a business up on the 100, 200 block or on Front Street has built around this model where we have ships, and they've invested their life savings into their businesses.
Right.
And then you suddenly want to take away 94% of the ships.
Right.
I mean, that's yanking the rug out from underneath people who have poured everything into a model where you have cruise ships.
Well, and
you can't just eliminate them. Now, the other thing I want to say about it, and I feel very strongly on this, as we're having these conversations about reimagining Key West or the future of Key West, the two sides need to do this together.
Thank you.
The business people and the group of people who wants to seem to change. I'll be the first one to admit that when we have 3 ships in port on any one given day, it's too many.
Okay.
It's hard for people to get around downtown. I understand that. I agree with that.
Right.
But to say we're going to get rid of 94% of the ships,
let me tell you.
We need to have something in the middle.
Yeah, well, let me tell you a quick story. First of all, come on in on the live. Let me know where y'all watching from, and do you agree or disagree with cruise ships? So I'm going to give it to you on this program. We only know how to do it blood raw. So are you aware that just recently I set up a meeting with both sides? The people.
I wasn't aware.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you, these are facts. We could talk opinion and then we could talk facts. And I'm going to tell you why I'm calling for a complete different direction in leadership. And this is very critical. So when I had people on this podcast, I was informed that we never set up a meeting. The city never set up a meeting, even though it was requested from the cruise ship people that wanted to see change, to bring both sides to the table, have some dialogue and see if we could agree some stuff.
That's fantastic. That needs to happen.
No, but here's the problem. They never made it happen, and never happened one time. So me over here on this podcast, I organized the meeting. It took me 1 hour and 38 minutes to get all the people that are on the referendum side, and everybody else that's on the other side was like 9-10 people. This happened like last month, and we came to some common stuff that we could talk about. So this is a failure from the city of Key West. You have failed completely, because it doesn't take a lot to get people together in a room. And the reason that these guys went and pulled the trigger is because they said they were treated with much disrespect from the city when they came to the table and wanted to talk about cruise ships. And if we could get a meeting, that were ignored and nobody brought them to the table. That's why.
I'm very sorry to hear that.
Number one, we had a lawsuit come because of this, and before that, we had this put a referendum. If we had a meeting like was supposed to happen, possibly we would have never been on referendum. So this is a failure to the city of Key West. This is the best I can tell you. My opinion.
It's a shame, because whatever the outcome is, and we won't know. I mean, the judge said today he's not going to rule on the merits of the case until after the referendum, whether it passes or doesn't pass.
Right.
But what people need to understand is that, and I didn't know this even a year ago. I had no idea of what happens when the city collects those port fees, where they go. I didn't know. And to find out how much money the police department benefits, the fire department, a lot of the community outreach programs, the lights at the ball field, I mean, things like that, people need to understand that a lot of that money comes from, a very sizable chunk of money comes from the port fees.
Absolutely.
From the cruise ships. And that's just what the city benefits from, and that money has to be made up somehow. I mean, I know taxes, people have talked about taxes. I'm a homeowner, I'm a property owner here in Key West. The last thing I want to see, even though I'm homesteaded, I don't want to see my taxes increase as a result of this. You know, the long-term ramifications of shaking up, you know, what has been a revenue stream for over 20 years to Key West. I mean, that's got some long-reaching implications.
Right.
What's going to happen if commercial real estate will begin to be devalued, and that's going to lead to devaluing all the property in Key West.
I just have a question, Dan. So exactly, if you want the cruise ships to go away, what exactly are they replacing them with?
Nothing. There's nothing. I mean,
so they're not replacing. I just want to make clear for the people watching. So you're going to take away cruise ships, and you're not going to replace them with anything. Is that what it's looking like?
Not only is it's looking like that, but the other problem, and this is where, Louie, this is where there's gray matter. It's hard to assign a number to the amount of people that have their first interaction with Key West on a cruise ship, and how that then impacts how many times and how they come back here. You know, everyone has their first time they visited Key West, unless you're born here. And even then, that's the day you come home from the hospital. That's your first visit to Key West.
Right.
But for most people, for a lot of people, they come here on a cruise ship, and it's a brief 5 or 6 hour stop. And I know the first time I came here 20 years ago was on a ship from Fort Myers. And, you know, I was on one of the ferries, the 1 day trip.
Gotcha. The one from Fort Myers,
and we, you know, my wife and I, before we moved here, we used to vacation in Naples. And after 1 6 hour trip to Key West, I think we both decided we didn't need to vacation in Naples any longer when we took a vacation. We needed to come back to Key West.
There you go.
And we did. We came twice the next year and 3 times, and next thing you knew, we fell in love with it and had to move here.
Next thing you know, you run into the Hogberg 10 years. So let me tell you this. I'll be very.
Anyway, what I'm getting at with that, Louie, was that a lot of people come to Key West for the very first time on a ship.
Right.
And then they become, and I call them my Hog's Breath members, even though we're not private.
Right.
These are people who come back 2-3 times a year and spend a lot of money in downtown Key West, and it's because they came originally
on the cruise
at
ship.
some point. They came on a ship, and now they choose to vacation in Key West a lot.
Right.
If we lose, eventually that's going to be a huge number too.
Well, let me tell you this. I'm real simple. If you want to go ahead and not have a cruise ship come to Key West for the rest of the time that we're living, that's okay with me, as long as you give me something in return. If you want to bring a casino in, I'll take a casino. If you have anything that could replace that revenue, but if you don't have anything to replace it, I'm 100% against getting rid of cruise ships. So I got some people coming in here. Let me see. The good old girl Spring says, thank you very much. Very nice compliment. Love you both too. Spring training. It's not just about baseball. My man James, small reopening is better than no reopening at all. Okay. Dion Clark. Dion, what's going on? Checking in straight out of Stock Island. I got a simple solution. Limit it to 2 ships per day. Screen and take temperature of debarking passengers, and that's it. Problem solved. Well, I wish it would be that simple.
That would be great.
Yeah. Unfortunately, what's happened is we brought this up in the middle of a pandemic, which is already bad. You know, while people are down, we're trying to kick them while they're down. And cruise ships are not coming back for a while. But I got to tell you, and I'm going to say this very clear, so like that, people understand. You know, we've been here with Dr. Burrows for almost 4 months now, at it full throttle on a daily basis. Let me be extremely clear. Key West is not a hot spot. Okay, Miami, Florida is a hot spot. Broward County, and some extent Palm Beach. So we haven't been hot at all. Now, we had spiking cases, and we was fortunate enough by the landscape to close US 1 down. Nowhere in America can they close the road down, only over here. thank God DeSantis opened the road back up, because if it was up to our current mayor in the city and county, we still would have been shut down. I guarantee you, from March 17th to whatever date it is today, you would still be shut down. And Hogberg, me, everybody would have been out of business. So I can't accept that. I don't care about anything. If I hurt feelings out here, I'm calling for a change. I actually think they're very good people. Heather Carruthers and Terry Johnson, but they're not for me, and they're not moving the city along. And also, like you pointed out, a lot of people work downtown, and that trickles down. People make money and they spend it locally in the community. So unless you're giving me something in return, I just can't support the
trickles down through every element of the economy.
Tell them about the trickle down effect. Some people don't understand that.
If you take away, if you take away, let's just say on the 100 block of Duval, we lose 25 to 30% of our revenue. Okay, that means that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to lose their positions, because I just won't, like most restaurants in that area, we won't need as many people if we don't have as many customers.
Correct.
Now those people, in turn, spend money all throughout town. The purveyors that provide us with food, liquor, we won't need to buy as much from them, so there's another impact.
Right.
And I do believe that if you look at the total amount of revenue coming into the city, you can't just throw one number out there.
Right.
Because it's a sliding scale. In the 100 block of Duval, it's not 8%. It's much, much greater than that.
Correct.
And you read about that number, and that might be overall, but it would be a severe change to Front Street and the 200 blocks.
Let's say it's 8%. What exactly did you get in return when it went to 0%? With no
Yeah, well,
they didn't give you 8%,
no,
0.5%.
But then you're also damaging 3 blocks of Duval Street and the whole area of Front Street. That will be devastated. There won't be much left.
Yep.
Because those businesses, which have been built for the last 20 years, have relied. They've built around a model where we have ships.
Right.
You can't just get rid of 93% of it and say, "Oh, I'm sorry." Well, that's the way it goes.
Right.
How do you tell someone who's poured their whole life savings into their business that they're going to lose? That it's just because, we need to change this for the city overall.
Absolutely.
That's why they need to do something to meet in the middle.
Exactly. And I'm all for that. I sit down at a table, but
this is the most one-sided barrage I've ever seen. And I understand their point. I almost agree with elements of their point that it's not attractive to have like a day when we have 3 cruise ships in. That's why I'm saying there's some back and forth that could happen where we don't have to lose 94%.
Well, like they say, the horse left the barn, and we failed in leadership to have this happen. So that's why we have this own referendum, and that's why we have a lawsuit. Somebody couldn't set up a simple meeting. I'm not in the city. I'm not the mayor at City Hall. I take 1 hour and 38 minutes to get to the meats and potatoes. So I hate to tell you, we failed. This is why we're having this conversation now. Now, if we went on the round table and they still put it on the referendum, at least we tried. We ain't tried a goddamn thing. So this is why we're in the position that we're in. And I'm basically, my point is that if you can't give me anything in return for the loss of cruise ships, I'll stick with what I got. So that's basically where I'm at with that. Let me see who else we got in here. You know this person, JC Key West?
I do not.
Says, "Hi Louie, hi Dan." You got fans out here. Well, you work for him. Spring Rice says, "This is great podcast. You guys are hitting all the points right on." I got to tell you, Spring, this is meats and potatoes. I'm telling y'all right now, as best I could say it, that if we don't get out there and vote and record numbers, especially some of y'all that never voted, this would be the time you will move out of Key West. I promise you this, because they're going to change the whole Conch Republic. They're going to take that Conch Republic flag that we got, and you ain't never going to see it no more. Speaking about Conch Republic, there he is, Christopher Valdez. His dad did the Conch Republic song. You know that character?
Well, absolutely.
Yeah. So let me ask you, Dan, How you who you liking out there for mayor and commissioner? How's that going out there? It's hot out there. Very hot.
It's
hot.
Tell you, I know Mark Rossi very well. Obviously, Mark was one of the first people I met here, and I think the very first person I met was Buddy Owen. And
Buddy Owen. Wow.
And Mark was maybe the second or third person I met, and Mark's always been very
BOs.
Yeah, BO.
That's for real. See, this is, thank you. So this is what I'm talking about. Ain't gonna be no more BOs. You see what I'm saying?
Anyway,
ain't gonna be no more of that stuff.
You know, Mark has been very generous with his time over the last 15, 20 years. He gives of himself to this city. I mean, it's hard to be a commissioner and not make a few enemies along the way, or a few people who don't think of you as well as others do. But it's tough to make decisions, and Mark's a decision maker. Mark says what he's going to do, and he gets it done.
Exactly.
And I mean, I'm sorry, when you are basically a public servant and you're forced to make decisions, you're not going to ever make everybody happy.
Absolutely.
But Mark, what I admire about Mark is that he gets the job done.
No
if
doubt.
he says he's going to do something, he gets it done. And you know, and he's going to make himself very available. I mean, whenever I've had a question for Mark, now that I'm on Duval Street every day doing business, he always frees himself up to talk to me.
Nice. He's a good man.
Yeah, no, he's been very approachable, and he's a fair guy.
Listen, speaking about good old Mark Rossi, tomorrow we going all the way in. Set your clock right now. At 6:45, Mark Rossi will be in the building. And we don't do like the county. We don't screen no questions. All questions are allowed. Any type of question that you got. All we do is that all we say is make sure you put respect on guest name that come on this program. Because if you don't, we got some actions we take. You know, we have to unfriend you. Then you might get banned from all social media platforms. And God forbid you have to get paid a visit from the Louie C. the Mayor detail team, knock on your door like the Secret Service. That's a whole different level. You guys don't want that pressure. So let me ask you a question. Okay, so we have, and I'm sorry to be critical on this, but this is just the way I feel. So you have a Facebook Live, right? That the county conducts, right?
Yes.
Why, if you're a taxpayer, when they conduct this Facebook Live, comments need to be moderated, and they only pick and choose the comments that they want. I thought we was for the people, by the people, empowered to the people.
You know, I'm really not sure. I watched.
This is a fact.
I watched the Zoom, the Monroe County Commission's their Zoom meeting. I don't know if that's what you're.
No. The Zoom meeting is. This is when. Let me just get to when the mayor of the county has a Facebook Live, just her one-on-one. Just like here, who is Mike Doze is doing production. They screen the questions and it's modified. Over here, when everybody, if you hate cruise ships with a passion, you could write right on here. I hate cruise ships. I wish they'd never come again. That's fine. So I believe that it's held to a higher standard if you're part of government. I think all people should be able to ask a question.
I had never watched anything. This was the week before mini season, and they had an emergency meeting.
Yep, 700.
And it was broadcast on Zoom, and I had to download Zoom, and I was technologically challenged, but I got it to work on my computer. And they went through the meeting, talking to each commissioner, and then they came to the point in the meeting where they took public comment. And they had about 40 people who were able to go on and say what they wanted to say. And I thought, how cool is this? Because you're hearing input from business owners, from tourists. And I walked away from watching that meeting, which was I spent about an hour watching it on my computer at home. I walked away from that meeting with such a good feeling that people were actually able to bring up their, and we had people calling from out of state and saying, look, my family's been coming to the Keys every year for 20 years for many seasons since we've had it. And we spend a lot of money down there, and this is what it means to us.
Nice.
And then I had a lot of people who were, like, an elderly woman called and said, my health is more important than tourism. So she got to say her piece. But you get to have everybody come in and say
Right.
Both sides got
Well,
a chance.
that
to
is,
say
that in the county commission is wide open and everybody can speak. The mayor again, when she sits one-on-one, they moderate
No,
comments. Now, let me tell you where I had an issue on the meeting that I watched. When I have 700 people going to a Zoom meeting, and the vibe that I get from my elected officials is, we rather you not come right now. And I don't get a thank you so much for coming down here and spending your money with us. As long as you follow the proper protocols, we welcome you. And I don't hear one person thank them people. I got a huge problem with that to the maximum, because I had an owner that owns 7 businesses watch the Zoom, and he said nobody thanked them people when somebody came in from Connecticut and said, this is what's going on. I want to make sure I'm okay if I'm going to come down there for lobster season. They didn't get come on down, just follow the regulation we got. What they got was, we'd rather you not come. Do you think that's acceptable?
No, that's not. Since we reopened after the big shutdown, I talked to my staff to make it the very first part of the conversation you have with your table. And it's real easy to break it open, say, hey, where are you guys from? And then the next thing out of your mouth is, I just want you to know how happy we are that you're with us, that you're here, that you chose to come here to Key West, and that you even chose to come to the Hog's Breath.
Customer service.
Yeah, well, but you got to let people know that they're appreciated, because they're our lifeblood. I mean, that's all we have, Louie.
Yeah. Do you know a gentleman named Bill Spotswood?
Yeah, I'm very well.
Okay.
Very,
So
very
Bill says me and him. He says I'm just like him, and he's one of my mentors. And you know what school I come from? I come, number 1, from the School of Hard Knocks. Number 2, I come from the Bill Spotswood School of Feed the Ducks, which is exactly what you described. Do you know, Mike, who is Mike knows on production, tell you, when we walk that street and we see people, we go out of our way to say hello, how you doing, everything good, and welcome people to Key West, because they don't get that hometown. I'll be damned if we're going to go away from that, because people are coming here trying to change the culture. I'm just not buying in. And like you said, some people are going to be uptight about different things. It's hard to be a politician. It's not like you say. It's not for them not putting in the work, because they're working very hard. So I want to make sure that's clear. But it's America, the majority rule, and you have your choice to put whoever you want in there. Let me just touch on this before we go to the next subject. How about the good old commissioner race? A gentleman named Wardlow and another one named Lopez.
I know Clayton personally.
Okay.
And I know him as a musician.
Oh, okay.
I know him
He's played at the Breath before?
I think he's been on our stage.
Okay.
But I've watched him with Coffee Butler.
Ooh, Coffee Butler. We thank you. The city city named the amphitheater
nothing against
behind.
Billy Wardlow. I just don't know him personally. I do know Clayton personally. I respect his musical attributes, which have nothing to do with his job.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
But I know that he is very much with a lot of the events that I've gone to see Coffee play.
Yeah.
Who's one of my all-time favorite. I used to book Coffee when I ran the yacht club 16 years ago.
Coffee Butler, a living legend. God bless that man. And for me, I'll give it to you all very clear. Mark Rossi for mayor, Clayton Lopez for commissioner, and good old Billy Wardlow for commissioner. That's my picks. And I just want y'all to go out there and vote. Is critical. Vote or die. Is that serious? Once again, I'm just getting to facts here. I'm sorry to have to bring this stuff up, but I'm 1,000,000%. Matter of fact, let me change. I'm 1 billion, not a million, 1 billion% against this goddamn 11 o'clock closing.
Well, I mean, I realize that they did that when mini-season, but mini-season is past now, and it may have served its purpose, which was to keep large groups from congregating on Duval Street, and but we're after mini-season now.
Let me ask you just one quick question. How many days is mini-season?
Well, mini-season, we look at it as a 1 week period.
Let me ask you the second question.
Technically, it's only 2 days long.
Okay, so how long was the 11 o'clock put in for? Do you know?
I think it was put in originally through the 19th.
Okay, so about a month, right?
It was put into place. Maybe it was put in on the 19th. I can't remember. It was for like a 2.
I'm gonna tell you, so it's roughly a month.
2 to 3 week period.
Yeah, it's definitely closer to the month.
But we're past that now.
Okay, so my question to you is that we have a meeting next Wednesday, and once again, I'm going to hit the facts here. The county mayor wants to keep you closed at 11. So I'm trying to find out, why would you keep a place closed at 11? Because we're not a hot spot. As you can see, cases are going down. People are going back to work quicker because we got some new medicine out there. So for what reason on earth would you still stay at 11 o'clock? Can you give me, I mean, if you, I'm trying, anybody out there, can you give me a reason why to have this at 11 o'clock? I'm fed up with this stuff, and luckily, I don't think she has the votes for it. And I'm glad, because over here in the city, we got 7 votes. You need 4. Over there's 5, and you need 3. So I'm hoping that goes away. And like I said, I don't want to lose the Republic character of what got us here. And I just think that some people have taken advantage of what's going on here, and they're trying to run their own agendas. I'm really fed up with this, and I just ask that you all go vote. Having said that, I heard you got the governor sending somebody over here tomorrow to talk to some bar owners.
We are going to meet with,
how about that?
With a representative from the Department of Regulation.
Okay. Shout out to Ron DeSantis. Say, hey, listen, I heard there's some shakeup in the Conch Republic. Them Zoom meetings ain't going to work. He said that Zoom going to go out the window. You're going to go there physically and see people. We're going to social distance, going to have masks. But you know what? No, thank God for Ron DeSantis, because if it wasn't for Ron DeSantis, and this is, and I want people to feel what I'm talking about, because when I've told, see, I haven't talked to you in a while. When I've been told, listen, it's a compromise because they want to close you guys completely. So the 11 o'clock is a compromise. I felt an insult with that, number one. Number two, I said, no, the compromise stuff is over with. The compromise is, I understand that they had to shut bars down. That would have compromised, they shut bars down completely. Enough of the compromising or whatever. So this is an insult. How about the people, like you say, that work for you that can't eat a goddamn ham sandwich? How about those people?
My people are very resilient. You know, we're doing the best with what we have to work with. At least we're still open as a restaurant. We can't use our bar counters. We can't have the bar.
We're open for business.
Yeah, we're open for business.
Yep.
And we're very I consider us fortunate, because a lot of places like my good friends at the Green Parrot,
Rick's,
yep. You know, they aren't open, and it's I mean, I have friends who at Don's place, friends who are bartenders, and they can't.
That's the people I'm talking about. The ones that you said, you pointed out, couldn't get the unemployment.
At least we're providing something for our staff. You know, at least they're able to make a little bit of money, and right now a little bit's better than nothing. You know, because the alternative is not good.
Okay, I'm not sure what's coming in. This is from Doris Arnold, straight out of Stock Island. Yeah. Let me see. Can you read that?
I can't.
Okay.
I don't know
let me see. On one of the news channels tonight, it showed percentages. It said you need to be 10%.
Below 10% for positivity.
And I've seen that. And we are currently at 10.48, way close to being under 10%. Well, thank you, Doris, checking in from Arnold's Towing. And let me tell you all this, bar's going to be opening soon. So don't talk about US 1 closing. It's not going to happen. We're lucky we were able to close it. You know what the governor told the mayor? The governor said, I understand you want to lock the US 1 down, but this is a typical thing. I'm in a Miami, for example, is in a hot spot. It's really hot. So now you have a hurricane, and then you got thousands of people coming in here to Miami. It's like the same thing. I said, go ahead and lock the people in the Keys and put a border. Don't let them in north. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do that. That's what she told the mayor, because only in Key West, Florida, can you shut a street down. If you go to Miami, you don't have to have a hotel reservation. You could go buy product there. You could go to the mall. Yeah. So we're lucky even to shut down for one day. Let's call it what it is. Yeah. So let me see what we got over here. Please hit the button over here for the notifications on the Facebook Live. Woo! And those of y'all watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button right over here. Woo! And let me know where you're watching from. You got any questions? Or what's your opinion? You know, this is my opinion on what we got going on, but we respect all opinions. Let me see. Let's see what we got. Okay. What's your favorite event of the year, Mr.
I'm not gonna lie, my favorite personal event, I mean, I'm a big fan of the powerboat races. It's always one of the first things I did when I moved here. I have a phenomenal time watching those races every year.
Right.
And from the perspective of running a business, I'm not going to lie to you. It's the last few years, it's been even better for us than Fantasy Fest from a revenue perspective.
Right. A lot of high-end people come
Well,
in.
the people come and they have money to spend, and they're not afraid to spend it, and they have a lot of fun. And we give them a lot of reasons to come to the Hog's Breath for the music, for the phenomenal service that they receive. But they respond by really cranking it up, and we have a wonderful week. My staff very much appreciates that week.
And we thank everybody. If we're going to be one human family, let's be one human family. Anybody that comes in. Unfortunately.
Yeah, but I love that event, and I'm partial to the music. That's why I'm in the business.
Yeah.
So Singer-Songwriter Fest, the Mile Zero Fest, even though we don't take part in the Mile Zero Fest or the Songwriters, it's a phenomenal week for the Hog's Breath.
No
It
doubt.
brings music lovers to town, and we are synonymous with live music.
Yes, you guys world famous in planets above and beyond. Hog's Breath, you got to stop by there on your visit down in Key West. So like I said, I'm for all the events, and I'm not for getting rid of spring break. I'm not for that. I'm not for getting rid of Bike Week. I'm not for that. I definitely ain't for getting rid of Fantasy Fest. I'm not for that either. I'm for keeping the character of the Conch Republic, and if you have a difference in opinion, I'm going to do everything in my power to vote you, make sure you ain't nowhere around City Hall ever. That's my opinion of what's going on, because y'all think I'm playing around. If this kid continues to go in the direction that we're going in, you won't have a business to return to. They're going to completely destroy the whole city. Spring Rice, let's see. Hog's Breath Saloon is in full compliance of their training. They always do it right. They did extra training recently to keep their customers and employees safe. Okay, Dan, you're doing your thing. Spring, this is not about throwing the baseball, hitting the conch baseball. It's about spring training. You know, I got history. You know how I know spring? Before your time, I had the biggest nightclub on here at 623 Duval Street, the Epic. And we was not always the mayor. We was on the other side. We was like Al Capone. So I used to get all kinds of heat, all kinds of stuff. But the facts, once again, facts are fact. We had, on Saturday, we had about 1,200 people in there from all walks of life. In there, tourists, locals, the whole 9 yards. And we played the rowdiest stuff, and it was fun. It's like going to a movie. Now, one time that I received a violation through the ABT at all. Me and Spring were on top of the game, so I learned the whole book from top to bottom, and Spring is best in the business.
She has enlightened me on more than one occasion, and she really does a good job with my staff. You know, they respond very well to her training. We don't ever train for more than like 20 minutes, but she keeps it brief. She also makes sure we're in full compliance with all of our food safety and keeping our staff, you know, certified. It's just wonderful. I don't have to worry when I know she's part of my program.
Gotcha. Dory, I see you keep checking in here, and I'm gonna put y'all feet to the fire now, right? So I got Tony's from Tony's Cuban Cafe on the Boulevard. You ever had a Cuban mix over there?
Yeah.
Okay, you been to Tony's before?
Yes.
Okay, so this is an exception. Tony, let me give it to you, Blood Raw. Enough of the playing around here. Who you got for mayor? Come in on the live, let me know. And I'm checking in all the way from Stock Island. Doris, who you got for mayor? Saying missing Fantasy Fest. We will be back stronger than ever. Let me ask you a question. Are you for the mall of Duval or against it?
You know, I really don't have a stance on that. That's going on down the 300 block. Is that not?
More of the 600.
600 block.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I'm so busy in the 100 block that I don't have time. I don't really have a stance on that.
Gotcha.
I mean, I realize that you know, some people feel that it provides more space to walk around and put tables out on the street, and that's kind of nice. But then you're cutting the traffic off. I mean, I don't know. I don't really have a stance.
I have a very simple stance on this. I'm all for trying Mall on Duval Mall, whatever it is that we want to try, because you have to have change. So I don't have a problem trying. But when I go to business owners, and there's 10 of them, and 8 of them say that they don't like it or they're not doing well of it,
Yeah.
and they keep saying this, then I start to have a problem where we start forcing that on people. So I was the first one to say, hey, give it a try. You never know what could work. But
You know,
once it's not working, I rather put that money there, because we're in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, and give it to people that are bringing events in town to offset some of the costs it costs to have some of these special events, because it's not easy to put on Fantasy Fest. It's not easy to put these events on. There's a lot of fire,
these events
police.
are huge.
And also, we was talking about this. I have one of the board members from Fantasy Fest. It's a lot of overtime that people put in as far as for our local people, which is good. It lets them make extra money, and that trickles down to your point of the trickle down effect. So at the end of the day, I just want to get people together. I'll be honest with you. I'm with you. I don't want to be, 17 cruise ships in that port at one time. God forbid, kids jumping off balconies for spring break. I like to meet somewhere in the middle, but this is not the middle, Dan. I got to tell you, this is way over to the right. And at the end, the power got to go to the people. Whoever the people want, that's who should be in there. That's how I feel about that. Go to Words the Party Key West. Do the contrary belief. They ain't never, ever going to stop the party. So we have lifted restrictions on that. On the Facebook, Where's the Party Key West on Facebook. And you can post anything you want. And my musician friends, please put your schedules, restaurants, if you want to put your specials. And we like to go out and take care of locals. And we just want people to work together and be part of the solution, not the problem. Because there's a lot of people that complain and bitch, but they don't get down in the nitty gritty.
We can all try to find some common ground. And we all live here in Key West for a reason. I mean, I know I live here because there's nowhere else in this world that I can do what I can do here in Key West.
Paradise.
But I think if the two opposing sides for any of these issues would just sit down and find their common ground, and then it becomes a little give and take for everyone to come up with a solution that isn't so one-sided.
1 hour and 38 minutes, both sides to the cruise ship. You didn't even know that today. Got them to the table. Billy talked to Bobby. Bobby talked to Billy. They don't agree on everything. But what I have the problem is that we didn't attempt to do this. This is where I'm having a problem.
Oh, I'm having a big problem with that too. It's the Key West way would be to try to find common ground. And I mean, we all live here. Yeah. We all love it here, right?
Those guys on the cruise ship are very nice guys, and they have valid points. I understand exactly. I felt bad for them that they had that treatment where they didn't even their word wasn't respected.
Taking away 94% of the ships is not the answer. That would do irreparable harm to the businesses down at that end of town. So that's not a good answer. But getting rid of the I think it's important to look at what the referendum tells us, and we have it in the election.
Yep.
And
see what happens.
But then you take that information and you get everyone together. And what's up with the shades?
Sometimes do a little prescription, and sometimes it's called hater blockers, in case we got some haters watching. So let me tell you, now this is the man at Hogberg. So I want y'all, now that you're world famous on the podcast, when you go to Hogberg, make sure you ask for my man Dan to say, see, you world famous on the podcast. And we're glad to have you. I'll be honest with you. I want everybody to come in here and have fun. I don't want to take the fun out of Key West. Thank you, FloridaKeysInjury.com. If you have an accident in a car, bicycle, moped, or God forbid on that ocean, you got to go local at 302 Southern Street. FloridaKeysInjury.com. Them boys will take good care of you. Dr. Burroughs, the #1 doctor in America and planets above and beyond. Advanced urgent care. Key West Marathon in Key Largo. And I got to tell you, who is Michael knows Mike? Tell him about that roast pork. Tell him that roast pork wasn't nothing flavored. Look, this guy's on the 100 block. He don't even know about this. You know about this?
I walk by it every day.
You see how many times you ate there?
I've been there. Not a lot. I'm working.
Yeah. No, this man, you see how he come out here? This man been in the sun trying to get it. I thought he was on the boat like a captain.
That's just high blood pressure.
But thank you. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And tomorrow, all questions, all answers, we're going to give you the best we can. And we don't moderate nothing. Mark Rossi doing it big. We will stay out here for 3 hours. And Dr. Burrow's coming in on Friday. And then we head to the weekend. And next thing you know, we election day on Tuesday. And I'm going to end it. It's real serious out here. You must vote or die.